Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get you guys this beautiful cinematic shot of the Heisen here, the Tier 8 Japanese rental ship, currently available for a 7-day rental, as you guys know, for 1,000 doubloons. Something I forgot to mention in my Anchorage video, though, is that all of these rental ships, their stats or some part of the ship could change. Wargaming is giving these to us, for a test in this rental form to see how they perform in the server. So I think they're doing something really smart. I've already said, my opinion piece on the doubloons. I think it should be silver personally, but this ship is honestly really great. I don't think it's going to get nerfed, if they put it back as a campaign. I'm not sure why it was not already a campaign. Maybe they thought it was too strong, but I am really enjoying this ship. It's basically just a steroided out Amagi or Key or whatever you want to think of. It's a Japanese Kansas with 410 millimeter guns. This thing absolutely slaps broadsides, and we get a lot of them in this game. Now, the few weaknesses of the ship, it's not that fast. It's not the most maneuverable for a battleship, but it does have excellent kiting angles and decent armor, although the Citadel is pretty massive. We go over the current stats and armor at the end of this video. Also, the reload is one thing that is one of those balancing factors. But yeah, stats and armor guide at the end. Again, I'm going to say this again because I know that there's just going to be a neckbeard going to be like, well, you said that this was a good ship, and then Wargaming is going to change it because this is the rental phase, and they're going to come after me, and I'm going to get another hate mail message video, which is actually pretty good for engagement. But regardless of that, stats, commander, and armor, current armor guide at the end of the video. We get a nice shot off on this Republic, and I will say this ship had some salvos on potentially angled targets that I didn't think were going to do as well as they did. But you'll notice that Republic ended up turning broadside. We get a nice 7 penetrations for 14,000 damage. Something that I look for in a battleship is just consistent damage. Now again, a lot of that has to do with your positioning. If you don't get the broadsides that you want, putting yourself in the right position to get those shots is far more important. But consistent damage, some battleships, it just feels like you shoot and you just don't get it, right? But this ship is one of the ones where I feel like I'm getting that consistent damage. We've got a few bounces there, but 3 penetrations for 15k actually. So in 2 salvos, we have 25k. I wish I put on the legendary reload mod to help our reload even more. Like we said, 36 seconds is the base reload, but we got ours down to, I think, 32.4 with the reload modification. We were not running the reload inspiration as well. We were running full accuracy on our commander. So keep that in mind, throughout this game. You could get the reload down a touch. Also, if you run the brawling commander, which I wouldn't really recommend, the secondaries don't go out that far, although you do have a giant, I think, 127 secondary on the back there. You can kind of see it. It almost looks like a 5th turret. And honestly, this ship would be pretty cracked if that was a 5th turret, but I wouldn't recommend a secondary build. In the meantime, though, we are kind of sitting out here slightly angled. I partly wanted to test a few of these salvos just to see what they would do on this broadside, but the FGG is just highly inaccurate, and honestly, I don't think it has enough pen to do anything, even at that very minimal angle here. I also was looking at the ships in the center. I had 2 games on Epicenter today, and I was honestly thinking about making a whole video on just the worst game modes and maps in this game, and this is one of them. Epicenter on Tears of the Desert, while I do enjoy the map, the game mode just forces ships to participate in the middle, and if our team did a good job of getting the Epicenter, but the game is... I had a game earlier today that was over in 6 minutes because the other destroyer decided not to get them. But because of that, as a result of the enemy team focusing in the middle, we were able to get access to all of their broadsides, which is just a way that a lot of people don't think about playing Epicenter. And when you position well, good things do happen, such as that Citadel on that Agir there. Unfortunately, we did not get 2 or a few more penetrations to get the finishing kill or potential dev strike, but our team finishes him off with ease after we took a beautiful chunk of his health. Here, I make a little bit of a mistake. You can see that Iowa turning as we have this Northern Dragon. Now, unfortunately, the Northern Dragon turned out, at which point I said, there's an L-Bang in another battleship in front of me. I'm going to go ahead and shoot at the Iowa, who is turning broadside and pushing himself into the brute force of our team. You could make an argument for shooting at the Iowa here, but following the principles of always shooting at destroyers, I missed a potential shot here. But with the accuracy on the ship, Of course, I only would have hit 1 or 2, but we know that 1 or 2 overpens is always beneficial on a destroyer. I just thought that the Elbing, because of his health, would have had the advantage, but unfortunately, he is playing his Elbing, which has very strong guns, as a torpedo boat, it looked like. You can never kind of count on your random teammates. He did do some correct things, the Elbing did, spotting and, getting flanks and things like that, but that AP on that destroyer versus a Northern Dragon, he should have won that engagement, He should win that engagement every time. We get another salvo on this broadside Iowa, and RNG is not having it with us today, at least on these opening salvos. We did get a few, nice chunky penetrations. But if we're being honest, we wanted the home run shot. Unfortunately, that's not how the game works. So again, you just have to keep, trying and putting yourself in the right spots. Unlike this Vladivostok, no idea what he was doing as we miss one set of deep water torpedoes from that Northern Dragon. We actually get lucky again. We get right within the spread as we smash the Vladivostok for another Citadel, 4 penetrations, and 1 Citadel, only 1 Citadel, I guess is a better word. Not sure why he was sitting broadside. He is, sort of angling to the other ships in the middle, but he could have closed up that angle on us. Again, we're thankful for his contributions. At this point in the game, I specifically remember I decided, you know what, I'm going to be a true man and push into the situation. But mainly because logic calls for it and dictates for it. We're not going to push this Northern Dragon. He's just going to torp us. In the meantime, we have this Marlborough and this Elbing out here, which, can distract these other battleships. Also, if you'll notice, the Småland has pushed into the center cap, and we have some ships on the backside. He is in the very center ring, so that only leaves, one spot for him to be, and that is on the far side of that island. You'll also notice we took a little cheeky shot, firing the front 2 turrets and then the back 2 over the little island there on that Republique, getting us an extra 9 or 10,000 damage. So paying attention to situations like that, as well as where you're spotted from and where your biggest threat is going to net you much better results. Number 1 in terms of damage, kills, and number 2 on the scoreboard. But we round this corner here. We could be either detected by the Northern Dragon out there as we look out there, or this Småland in front. But we round the corner, and we're still detected, so that tells us it is the Småland. He briefly got out of the center cap, but he got back in. You can see it is starting to tick. So that tells us he's right in front of us. I'm more worried about these ships on the right, and that is when the Småland pops up. A huge mistake by him, but he doesn't really have many plays. His team is down 500 points. Again, talking about Epicenter. We'll line up the shot and get all but 1 point of his health for the Dev Strike. 6 overpens. If we would have gotten a few more, it would have been the Dev Strike. But we did actually tick the Confederate medal in the meantime. We have this P-Bag out here, but we have this Vladivostok, and he, again, he's asking for it, right? It's because of what he's wearing. No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke in poor taste. But he comes out broadside. We're just getting our 32-second reload back online, and we've got the shot of a lifetime. Everyone knows that Russian cruisers, or Russian battleships rather, just love to eat citadels. And that is when the Northern Dragon makes himself known that we did not shoot at him. Good night, Mr. Vladivostok, though. Thanks for playing. And that is kill number 2 to take us into the high caliber. In the meantime, though, you will notice we are ticking well into the 990 point range, something I was not paying attention to. There were still 3 ships left alive for probably, that had another 100,000 health combined, but a nice damage total nonetheless. We missed out on a few dev strikes due to RNG, but we put our ship in the right spot, scoring first place with a Confederate and a high caliber, and a perfect showcase of this rental Tier 8 Japanese battleship. Like I said, guys, if you can get yourself in the right spot, I think she is an absolute beast. 69 target hits, nice, with only 5 citadels, with 3 of those coming at the end there. If you can, get the RNG to roll on your side, 200k was well within our possibility, even with the game ending early due to the lovely Epicenter. But here are the stats: 75,900 health. You saw it in-game there. The guns are where the ship really shines, though. 4 10s, 4x3 of them for 12 of them, with a 12,100 max AP Shell Alpha. That's got to be, somebody's going to do the math there. 12 by 12 is a massive Alpha Strike. Now, of course, that's, you've never gotten 12 Citadels, but that is how we measure Alpha Strike. AA defense is kind of mid here. You're looking at the long-range AA, ideally, and the 2x2 127s there, and then the 6x2 127s don't really do that much damage. We talked about the maneuverability in-game. it's not that great. 28 top speed is a little bit slow, and then an 880 turning circle is not the best. Concealment is not that bad, though. 13.6 with concealment mod. Here is the Armor 32 millimeter front plate. It kind of takes up a giant portion of that nose. There's like a few of my ex-girlfriends, but no, I'm just kidding. And here is the casemate, very chunky broadside with a decent citadel. It's got a little bit of a turtleback there, but if you show kind of broadside, I'm assuming you will get touched pretty well. And you can also see what I talked about earlier. I think there's a missing plate there in the front. Again, this is a rental, and it will probably change. Either that, or there's no armor in the front of that citadel there. I can't believe it would be designed like that, but. Yeah, probably a mistake nonetheless, though. It does have a little bit of a cheek. I saw a few people talking about it, and what we mean by a cheek is that front little accessible plate there that you can shoot from the front. Now, only ships that can really overmatch 32 can get access to that front plate at significant angle, but if you're kind of sitting, a little more near the 45-degree angle like that, you can hit that. It's a very small, cheek compared to the Yamato and a few others, but yes, a spot you can aim for if you see this ship. But yeah, guys, that is the Hyzon, the Tier 8 rental. I think it's a really good ship, as we see, the Citadel well above the waterline there. And here's the commander, of course, Takeo Takagi, full accuracy build with, Scharnhorst and Cunningham, I think. For grouping there, grouping and dispersion. So full accuracy with our, reload modification, probably the most common build that you will see. I'm sure you could grab another commander there. I'm probably not thinking of one that you have to spend $80 on and then upgrade once again to get you, one better stat in terms of reload or something. But that is the commander we are running. And yeah, I really enjoy the ship. It's fun. It's different. I think Wargaming had a great idea doing these ships for rentals. I just wish it was silver and not the balloons. But guys, that is the Hyzon. We got you another little cinematic shot there on the ocean port. But yeah, that's the ship. Hope you guys enjoy that first look. AA run out. Peace.